how do you wish ESPN had handled that situation?
The only thing I wish they would have handled differently, like I understood the suspension. This is like when you even insinuate about a boycott, especially of a league that they have $1 billion deal with, there's going to be some smoke with that. I did understand that I violated ESPN's social media policy with Trump. They don't want you to personally attack politicians, for sure. Got it. What you cannot do is that when you have somebody in that position with that authority, with that machine of the government behind them, you can't let them come after a journalist of yours. Okay. That is, to me, an egregious sin. I come from an old school newspaper background.
I think that's an old school thinking.
It is an old school thinking, right? And so that's my mentality, because I've worked at plenty of papers where they've had aggressive investigative journalists that have gone after the politicians in that city, because that is what journalists are supposed to do. You're supposed to hold the people in authority positions accountable. And whenever the city government tried to bring the smoke, they had their reporters back. And so when ESPN didn't do anything after Trump personally attacked me, after Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the former press secretary, said what I did was fireable, that's when I knew our relationship was irretrievably broken.
So your mother is conservative. What was her reaction to the tweets that you fired off about a former president?
It's a combination of being conservative and being old school. Like, she is from, maybe it's generational, but I'll just say from the generation where you respect the office no matter whoever's in it. And so her position was mostly about that. Her other thing, too, is that, at that time, I have this very high-profile job on SportsCenter. I'm making a ton of money, right? And she's just like...
You lose your good job, girl.
Exactly. The elders just say, you lose that good government job. Like, that's how she was sort of thinking about it very practically. And... as I make no bones about it in the book, it's like, I didn't like the response. I was like, as I told her when she said that about respecting the office of the president, I was like, it's hard to respect it when the person in it doesn't respect it. Yeah. Right. And so, she constantly was asking me like, well, is it worth it? And, I think she thought that because of all of the conversations about Trump at the time, and that have continued, that I was being too influenced by this perception of him, and that I was wagering something that was way too costly and, wasn't worth it. And so I didn't really want that conversation. To be honest, after that is happening and you have what feels like the whole world attacking you, I didn't need the lecture, right? I needed her to just support. The support. The support did come. Yes. I want to be very clear about that. But initially, I think it was just the shock of it. She just kind of immediately went to opine, and I was like, I don't really need all that. Yeah. So,
but also, I'm sure, and she has a different experience, and her daughter is this big TV sports journalist, and she is successful. I don't want anything to jeopardize that. Correct. So I'm sure she's, Yeah,
she was thinking of it that way. Thinking of, in her mind, being a protective mother. It's like, you've worked really hard to get to this point, to this platform. Why risk it all for some hot takes on Donald Trump? And I was like, because
I got Naomi in me. That's why, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't act like you don't know the daughter you raised. Of course, I got something to say about this fool.